everyone, and welcome back to the Paddock Girls podcast, the show where the analysis is sharp, the laughs are loud, and the opinions are occasionally as scorching hot as the Qatar sunset. I'm Melissa, joined by Amy, Hanna, and Chelsea behind the scenes. Today, we're diving into the Qatar Grand Prix, one of the newer kids on the Formula One block, making its debut in 2021. Qatar, pulled up, hi, I'm LaSalle. Here, 26 laps of full throttle, a heat index that wants you dead, and a tire wear that aids you faster than a Red Bull junior driver. And honestly, it's iconic. While Qatar doesn't have the decades of drama like Monza or the Samba energy of Brazil, it does deliver a desert showdown where drivers basically spend so long at full speed they start to reconsider their career choices. And between the sweeping corners, the sand, and the humidity, the Pirellis spent the weekend screaming louder than the team radio under pressure. So buckle up, hydrate aggressively because the drivers needed IV drips, and at least we just need water bottles. And let's get into everything you need to know ahead of lights out in the desert.
Hi besties, it's Amy. If you don't recognize my voice by now, have you really been following PGP? Because I feel like we're all very distinctive. I, as always, seem to be back yet again with Turn by Turn, our segment where I deliver the laundry list of track changes that we get ahead of the Grand Prix. I do not have a crazy list this weekend, and I'm very happy with that. The track changes are as follows. Additional gravel strip at the exit of Turn 6, on the right-hand side at Turn 10, and at the exit of Turn 16. The gravel strip at Turn 14 now starts earlier on the track, and the gravel beds have also now been painted so you can see them differently, which personally I really do appreciate. Now, coming in to this race weekend, we had a really interesting announcement / bit of breaking news, headline, whatever you really want to call it. And that is the fact that the FIA and Pirelli set a maximum stint length of 25 laps per set of tires. The Qatar Grand Prix is 57 laps for an F1 race. That means it was going to be a mandatory two-stop strategy, assuming that there were no red flags, which obviously will throw an absolute spanner in the works because it's a red flag. We also had a little bit of news coming into the weekend with the fact that McLaren was going to have to run their car at a higher ride height than they had most of this season because of the problems that they dealt with in the Las Vegas Grand Prix, where there was too much wear on the plank on the underneath part of the car. I was personally really intrigued to see how that was going to affect the ride of their car, their pace, all of that, because, how high and or low you run your car impacts your speed. My most favorite bit of news is the bit of news we got from Aston Martin. Now, last weekend, we had a lot of rumors that we did not mention on last week's race recap because it was just that. Rumors. We don't tend to like to talk about stuff until we know for sure what is going on. But there were a lot of rumors surrounding Aston Martin's CEO and team principal Andy Cowell. There were rumors that he was going to be either leaving the team or losing his position within the team. There were also rumors that they were considering bringing in everybody's least favorite, Christian Horner, into the team. Well, those rumors aren't totally accurate. We finally got confirmation, and it is official. Andy Cowell is pretty much more or less getting a demotion, in my opinion, based off of what I read. He is now going to be going from being the CEO and team principal of Aston Martin F1 to the chief strategy officer. Now, who the heck is going to replace him in the team principal role? Can we get a drum roll, please? It is none other than motorsports icon Adrian Newey. How? Why? I don't know. I'm a little surprised that he took the team principal role because I felt like in the past he kind of made it clear in past interviews that he prefers to stay behind the scenes a little bit more. But I'm personally questioning if he maybe was like, I am not working with Christian Horner again. Give me the damn job. Because honestly, I don't blame him. I would have probably done the exact same thing.
Very understandable from his end. I'm just interested to see like how it all goes into play the next upcoming season. I'm excited because that man's like a genius when it comes to like F1 cars. We all know how I feel about a certain driver on the team, but their other driver, Fernando, I just know, he'll be having a great time. Lance, it's to be determined. Sorry, Chelsea, love you. But still excited to see how it goes, especially like when it comes to like when they have the press conferences with the team principals, because he's gonna be speaking like more technical, if that's like the correct word to use, like instead of, I mean, of course the other team principals like know about racing, but like he just knows and understands it like to a different level.
Yeah, the
fun,
technicality.
Like, yeah, so it'll be fun to like hear him just like talk about it.
I'm just really intrigued to see what happens for Aston with next season, especially when you've got both Adrian Newey in a team principal role, but also in a role where he's able to have impact with the car, because he hasn't really had much to do with the 2025 car, if anything at all. So I'm just very intrigued to see what happens with new regulations, with the fact that Adrian Newey is going to have his hands on that car, because I'm so intrigued. Now, normally, this part of the episode is where you hear all of us yap about liveries and helmets. Now, I'm actually surprised that I'm able to say this. After all of the special liveries and lid designs that we had last weekend, we don't have a singular one for this race weekend. Granted, I am assuming that pretty much everybody is going to go wild with lids for Abu Dhabi. Not that I blame them. It's the final race of the season. Go all out. But I was at least expecting like maybe 1, 2. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't have any. I really do hope that people go absolutely ham with helmet designs for next weekend. I want a lot of glitter and a lot of chrome and a lot of just like, it's your final race, go out with a bang kind of helmet designs. Please, I beg.
Give us all the extra possible.
Literally.
I'm a fan of extra helmets. And speaking of extra, of course, we have to talk about the fashion, or probably like lack thereof, because I mean, the only person that actually delivers is Lewis. Are we surprised? No, because everyone else likes to wear that damn team kit. Anyways, he showed up race day in an all red look from Ferrari style, and I was a big fan. I mean, that you can put like a like potato sack on him and he would still like rock it, if we're being honest.
I do have to say, I really feel like we haven't seen as many crazy fashion takes from Lewis this season, and I personally really miss it. The only other drivers I feel like that kind of try a little bit to not wear team kit, at least for media day, is like Esty Bestie has started to be a little bit better. Yuki sometimes will pull out something really kind of funky and very streetwear vibe, but most of them rock up in a team kit. Max Verstappen is the biggest suspect of that situation, because I swear to God, he pretty much only wears team kit or owns team kit.
Facts.
Literally. I wonder if sometimes that's his entire wardrobe.
Probably is.
I swear it's team kits, a few pairs of jeans, and like a few t-shirts and some sweaters. Like, I feel like he has to have the most minimalistic wardrobe on the planet.
He probably
even
loves
then,
it like that.
Even then, I think some of the t-shirts are like AlphaTauri t-shirts, so it's still like a sponsor in a way. So it's still like off. It's team kit adjacent. You know?
Mm-hmm. This is when you need the girlfriends to have like a little bit more of like an involvement in the wardrobe, maybe.
Yes. Yes, please. Now, of course, I also have to yap about the trophy designs, because I love looking at the trophy designs. I think it's really fun. I really liked this year's Qatar Grand Prix trophy. It was created by the world-renowned design house Pininfarina. I may have mispronounced that. I do apologize. And the official prize is going to symbolize Azerbaijan's identity as the land of fire and ice. I have to say, I think my favorite little part of the trophy itself is the flame-inspired shape that they went for. The sides are engraved with patterns that are drawn from Azerbaijan's rich carpet weaving tradition and is inspired by the Khan Karbagh motif. Again, I may have mispronounced that. I am so sorry. More or less, these elements are meant to embody speed, motion, and rotation, merging the dynamic spirit of F1 with national heritage. I really just loved this trophy shape, the way it looked, everything about it. I have no notes for it.
I was a big fan as well too. Like it was just so aesthetically pleasing to look at, like just the uniqueness of it. I wish more tracks did the same, taking some inspiration. But yeah, no, I loved it. Loved it.
I sometimes wish more tracks gave us an overview or a reason for their trophy designs, because
I had to
sometimes you
dig.
look at it. Yeah, because sometimes you look at the trophy and you're like, really cool. Wonder what made you think of it. But also, did you just do like a random, what's a good trophy design? Give us the details, because if it means something, people are probably going to appreciate it just a bit more than just a random trophy. I could be wrong there. That's completely fine. In my head, from a historical perspective, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm all for that. But I know we don't typically talk about gossip or rumors here on the podcast. We try to stay away from it until it's confirmed. But this one could potentially burn a little hot. So we have to at least mention it. And that is the impending confusion. What the heck's going on? Second seat at Red Bull. Now, there is a lovely rumor going on that there can be some shift in what I like to say the House of Commons at Red Bull and VCarb. Who is going to get the seat? What is going to happen? Is Yuki getting kicked out? Are we seeing Isaac moving to Red Bull? Is Liam going to go back? What's going on? I'm interested to see what this is. The rumor says that this week, actually, we're going to get the news. So we are filming this and recording on Monday. I'm interested to see what actually happens and what ends up happening. I hope Yuki gets a seat, but who knows at this point? Actually,
supposedly, the
Go
news
ahead.
is supposed to drop tomorrow, Tuesday. That's what at least the rumors that I have seen as the girl who has literally every single F1 notification turned on every single platform. I've seen multiple different accounts claiming that the news is supposed to drop on Tuesday. Do I have
seen that
time
too.
for Tuesday?
Yeah.
No. All I know is Tuesday. So it could
We might wake up with it knowing our luck.
We might wake up with it. It might technically drop at like midnight tonight. It could happen like late tomorrow evening. I have no friggin' clue. All I know
They're
is
10
Tuesday.
hours ahead. All I know is they're 10 hours ahead, so probably within knowing our luck, that 10 hours that we're probably either asleep or getting our lives together at some point. I think it's crazy. I also think that this is a great opportunity for anybody who's leaving after Abu Dhabi, whoever that impending driver is. Please put that car into flames, seance the whole Red Bull garage, get rid of the second seat curse when it comes to McLaren. Or not McLaren, Red Bull. And maybe we'll have some better luck in 2026.
I mean, I would love to see whoever is knowing that they're leaving just like be a menace. Pull a K-Mag, like bowling
Give
in
us
turn
drama.
one, like give us maximum chaos and
Latifi.
carnage. Just don't pull a Grosjean and like turn your
Yeah.
car into an absolute fireball.
So are you
like
asking
safety wise?
whoever that driver is to essentially take out the McLarens for Max?
Maybe.
Is that what you're asking?
Not actually, but like, I mean, just take anybody out. Honestly, I don't even care. Like, not necessarily, don't take out your teammate, obviously, because that's just rude. But like, pop out a red flag just for funsies. Like, I don't care who you hit. You could hit like a Haas for all I care. I literally don't care who it is.
My head went cone. Your head went a Haas car.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I know which driver could get crashed into, but I'll just keep that to myself.
Yeah, I'm like,
Just spill the tea.
Just do a burnout before you crash out, just so we can see some fun.
I want to see you go. If you are leaving because you're being pushed, go out with the biggest bang you can manage.
Yeah.
While also
Hit
not
Lance.
setting your career on fire.
Hit Lance. I'm for that one.
You know what? Yes.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. And
I feel like I
doesn't
know
have-
what Melissa's answer is, and she's keeping it to herself because I know who she wants technically to win the driver, or who she doesn't want the person to win the driver championship.
I mean, there's
is.
two people, honestly, I don't want to win the WDC, but
So I'm assuming it's one of them that she wants to take out. And it's the McLarens, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys can take your guess. I am a Ferrari fan, so you know. I love Hanna and I love Meg, so it's nothing with them. No. Well, I was gonna say something. It'll be interesting to see like who gets that second seat. I hope to God it's not Isaac, just because I don't want his career to get ruined like it was Yuki's.
Thank you.
But it's tough. But if you listeners are out there and the announcement hasn't been dropped, let us know who you predict will take that second Rebel seat and who will be in V-Car, because we are all interested to know and want to see your theories. And maybe we'll just, if one's right, maybe we'll share it on a future podcast. Who knows?
I mean,
Give
even let
us
us know if
your
you think
logic.
they made the wrong decision.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Let us know your
if
thoughts.
you-
especially,
if
The
the news
method
is
to the
already
madness.
dropped, and like, yeah, whether it's you've got
How you
predictions
feel.
or you have
How you don't
the
feel.
oh my god,
Mhm.
they picked the wrong guy. Like, tell us, we want to know. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
please
Reasons.
just scream into the void with us.
And
Yeah.
if the person that we all don't want to be in that seat get in that seat, we write it on.
I'm just gonna like hire an Etsy witch at this point. And it's
I
gonna
keep
be
hearing
why
about
pay
that.
somebody?
I will say, you know what, I'm gonna need you to do a lot for Ferrari. That's gonna be like our main focus, bestie. So
Dang.
I'm
trying.
Help them.
We need all the help.
I'm not I mean, I love Ferrari. I have no hate for them, but I'm not as huge as a fan as our lovely Melissa here. But I know they need some help. Like,
We
they
need,
need
like-
some help. Like, please, God forbid, the Tifosi are tired.
Exhausted.
Y'all, where half the F1 grid is about to line in my freezer.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted for them.
If you know, you know. I'm not going to elaborate, but I'm trying, people. I promise.
She is.
I'm trying.
Now, we can continue on with this gossip because, I mean, who doesn't love some cheeseman, right? But
It's piping hot.
exactly, there's so much, especially with the end of the season. There's 3 seats still not filled, and like anything can happen from now until like February into March. But be on the lookout. Again, leave a comment, send us a DM, whatever, respond to our threads. We are interested to know how you guys feel, what you guys think, all of that. Now, of course, it being the final sprint race weekend of the season, we only had one free practice, as we all know. Honestly, nothing exciting happened. Just if you really, really want to know what went down, just feel free to check out the highlights on the F1 YouTube channel or just watch the full session on F1 TV. Because honestly, it just was business as usual. The top 3, we did have Oscar in P1, Lando in P2, and Fernando in P3. Fernando, he's a big shocker. And it's just subtle foreshadowing on how like he's just, I don't know, something was like, he had some pixie dust this weekend for sure in that Aston. Now, going into sprint quali, I think I'm speaking for all Tifosi, including Lewis and Charles. I cannot wait for that SF25 to be gone. I got to see it up close in Brazil, which was really, really cool, but I cannot wait to see it gone and out of my sight for the rest of my life, because why, and all things are holy, is Charles in P8 and Lewis in P16 with four, like, it was like in the last like 4-ish minutes left of SQ1. Like, riddle me that. It's a Ferrari, for crying out loud.
Honestly, probably Charles included, but definitely Lewis after this season needs to set the car on fire to fix whatever bad juju is going around. We all can agree, this man looks tired.
He's burnt out.
He looks dejected, honestly. Like,
he's media, he's just...
It hurts.
It does.
I feel like we haven't seen... Like, the last time we saw Lewis this upset was when he was leaving Mercedes.
Yeah.
And he was frustrated with Mercedes. The fact that he's in a situation again where he's, like, that frustrated with a situation just really makes my heart hurt for him, because he was trying to escape that, and I feel like he just found himself in the same situation again.
Agree.
But if not a bigger of a hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mel had mentioned, in practice, Fernando was in the top 3. We had like a minute and 21 seconds left in the session, and Fernando Alonso puts it on pole. I'm sorry. What do you mean he topped the session? Yes, I know there was a minute and 21 left, but still, I was so perplexed. I really did not expect it, but still. Like, we love to see it. I like to see a racy Fernando Alonso. It's just really fun.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It's just so fun. I know I'm not the only PGP girl who feels this, and I know I'm not the only fan who feels this as an F1 fan. But oh my god, the final shuffle at the end of, like, the last few seconds of a sprint quali or a regular quali session always has me so freaking stressed out, because it's just like this mad final shuffle on the timing sheet, and it just makes me so anxious.
I am with you on that. It's when it gets a little too crowded, I'm just like, please don't bump into anyone. But the only like crazy thing that went out of like the first sprint quali session was just that Max was noted for possible impeding Lando, but luckily for Max, no further investigation happened after that.
Now, at the tail end of Sprint Quali 1, I really hope I am not the only person who noticed the pan on the camera to the fans, and there was this sign that I literally had to pause it, run it back, and take pictures because I thought I was hallucinating for a second. It is a fan and his parents, like a younger fan and his parents. And the young fan sign reads, "I should be at school, but my parents are legends." Followed by his Max Verstappen fan mother with the do Max Verstappen on a big sign. And the father was really the one that took me out, because it read, "Take your father to F1, they said. It'll be fun, they said. He is a Ferrari supporter." I was wheezing uncontrollably, especially because you could tell that these were things that they more than likely printed at home and brought with them, because there was a crease line in the paper and it was just like white, like large sheets of printer paper. I have pictures on my phone, as I said. It's absolutely hilarious. I really would love to get like a media F1 account roundup of like the funny signs that they have footage of, photos of, whatever, because I feel like we don't get enough of that sometimes. And I love seeing the creative signs that fans come up.
I am with you on that. I saw that and I literally looked over at Chris and I was like, that's going to be us in the future.
Absolutely it will be.
Because it definitely will be. I can feel that father's pain deep in my soul. Really, that was leaving. I'm gonna keep talking about like Brazil like millions of times over, but literally like leaving like Brazil, I was just like, I had to be a Ferrari fan. I was like, why couldn't I like join like the dark side and be a Red Bull fan or a McLaren, or I was like, or even like an Alpine. I was just like, I had to choose. Like, I get that. I get you 110%.
The dark side, though,
it's Red Bull. So that would have been caused some chaos here because,
yes,
yeah. But out of SQ1, we did have Lance, Liam, Lewis, Pierre and Franco.
Now, during Sprint Quali 2, we had a moment for Kimi Antonelli where he went way wide at one point and basically had to go again to do another lap with about 2 minutes and 30-ish seconds left in the session. I was really stressed for him because he's done pretty good in qualifying for the most part, sprint quali and regular quali, so I was just really hoping that he wasn't going to have an issue, was going to be able to just like get another lap in. We did have a moment for just like the gravel, because there was just a clip where it's just all you see is gravel in the air at turn 16 for the final few seconds when Carlos Sainz came over the line. I think based on the replays, it was Nico who just sent it a little bit too wide and went into the gravel, so he sent it all up into the air. But we did also see a very similar kind of situation from Lando Norris at turn 2, which is not a place that we normally see people like going wide or dipping it into the gravel. So it was really interesting to see just like both those situations.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this weekend is definitely a weekend for track limits, because this is just a start, a heads up. We had a lap time deletion for Nico and Isaac for track limits at the very end of the session.
Yeah. That lap deletion brought back the irritated Frenchman that is Isaac Hadjar. It was giving me so many F2 flashbacks. I was a little unwell. I can't lie, people.
And this is coming from the man who, historically this season, he's been like very nice, at least what they show as far as radio messages on F1 TV. So to get that, you're like, whoa, sassy. He's come back. Kind of how we felt when Alex's started coming out, and you're like, what the heck? I'm not used to this. But we did also see Max barely getting through past SQ2 into SQ1 because he was struggling with the bumpiness of his car. It just seemed like something wasn't working. Maybe it was the misalignment, the tie rods for whatever. They weren't tight enough, because even when I looked on the onboard camera, he was like shaking like his car. Something was not going right with the Red Bulls.
At the end of Sprint Quali 2 was Isaac, Ollie, Gabby, Nico, and Esty Bestie. We did get a little clip at the end of Sprint Quali 2 of Lewis Hamilton's post-Sprint Quali 1 interview, and oh my god. Like we said, the man has seemed really frustrated and irritated and just kind of over everything with Ferrari right now, but that post-Sprint Quali interview really hurt my soul on the deepest of levels, because the man just looked so drained. Like he was like commenting on the weather. Like it was so not a Lewis Hamilton like
response.
That was so not what you want from him.
Yeah, he's just so over it. Like when he like mentioned it, like, what are you looking forward to? He's like, the good weather. It's comical, but it's so sad. But again, it brings back to like what John Elkin, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, what he said, like after Brazil, like they need to do less talking. So maybe this is like Lewis's way of like just following what he says. It's like, I'm just gonna be a smartass about it and just be like, the weather's what I'm looking forward to. Because if I were them, I'd be so petty after that statement.
I mean, Ferrari, can you just call me for a spiritual consult? Because I fear you need some help.
Yes, please fly out to Maranello like tomorrow. Now seriously, literally, I'll go with you just for funsies so I can yell at someone. I like yelling at people. Now, going into SQ3, again, honestly, someone keep count on how many times we mentioned track limits in this episode, because we gotta know, because we had a lap time deletion again. For who? Max.
By the end of Sprint Quali 3, your top 10 lined up as follows: Oscar, George, Lando, Fernando, Yuki, Max, Kimi, Carlos, Charles, and
I do have to say, I did love seeing Yuki ahead of Max, even if it's one spot. Like, the man deserves a little high moment like that.
I was surprised to see Max even getting P6 for the start because he was struggling so bad with the car
Yeah.
that I was almost just like, are we seeing not the end, but almost like
The
the
beginning of the end.
stop? Yeah, from Max. There were even moments where I was just like, okay. And then to see Charles doing so bad when historically, at least he's put in like the top 5 recently. I was like, what the heck's going on? Like, I was prepared for a shakeup.
But not this much.
Yeah, but not that much.
Feel like Yuki Tsunoda is really trying to put it all out there on the track, since everything with VCarb and Red Bull is just like so up in the air right now in terms of the seat, that he is just like, okay, I'm gonna give it every single thing I have. And I can't blame him. I would do the exact same thing if I was him.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially like, I know I was on the Yuki train of him joining Red Bull since the beginning of the season, since Liam was announced for that second seat in Red Bull. I still believe that
Same.
Yuki has deserved it and everything, because like, again, it's something with that second seat, because once Liam joined VCarb, Liam was he was pretty like consistent in the points and everything like that, or he was doing decent. So it's just, I feel for Yuki. I just want the best for like Yuki, and I know like Oscar's mom is like fighting air right now.
Though, because historically the car has always been built around Max's
Yeah.
style, and people typically can't drive the same way as others. Like we saw that when Danny went to McLaren. We saw that when
With
Checo. We've seen that with Lewis and Ferrari right now.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it the first half of season with Carlos and Williams. And so I wonder if the car, the way it's driven, is so different than any other F1 car on the grid currently, that people can't adapt to it as easily. I do wonder that. Like, I wonder, is it something that is how the car is configured and made? If it is secondhand parts, for all we know. Kind of what's going on, because something just doesn't seem to add up how it should.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's just like, because I think back to like when Checo, like he was a solid like number 2 for Red Bull for like that time, and then like he just started like falling off. Like he was the minister, like the Mexican minister of defense, for crying out loud, and then he just wasn't up to par. And then like I feel like it's just something's going on. Amy is just gonna have to like travel like all of Europe like over winter break at this point, because something's
Sign
up in
me
the
up.
I'm going with you, because again, I like to yell at people, so like sign me up for that. But like, yeah, it's
I've got room on my flight to London and Switzerland at
Don't
the end
tempt
of
me
the
with
year
a
if
good
you want
me
to
time.
join.
Don't tempt me
We
with
can
a
make
good
some-
time.
We can make some pit stops on the way.
Now, going into the sprint race, we had some interesting starts, to say the least. We had Lance, Lewis, Pierre, and Franco, essentially the first ones to be knocked out, all starting from the pit lane.
We ironically had a delayed start because we were waiting for all 4 of them to get to the pit lane. I don't even think we've seen that happen all season when we've had more than one car start from the pits. It was just so odd.
Yeah, those poor tires were beginning to like cool down, like especially at the front, like the front row starters, like yeah. But I do have to say, Oscar did have a hell of a start at the start of the sprint. Like as soon as lights went out, like he just like bolted. However, it was a rough start for Charles, because the man literally went off at like turn 2 during the first lap, and he went from 9th to 13th. And then to round out like all the struggles, Max was complaining about porpoising. It literally brought me flashbacks to like when Lewis was complaining in the Mercedes car about porpoising. He was just like, it's so bouncy, it's so jumpy, and like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
It was almost like they took the first like 3 laps and put the most chaos in there, and then said, here you go, roll the dice, what's next? But as a person who does like McLaren, Lando put a lot of pressure on George, and I will say, George, get it, like he fended him off, and he created like a really good duel between the two of them and a good challenge. He was like, "Can't try again."
Yeah.
Like that block was like incredible, and I was just like, "Okay, George, go off."
I feel like those two can battle each other really well. It's kind of the same situation of like Charles and Max, where like they've been racing each other in karts for so long that like each other's tricks and
Yeah.
can kind of like think of like, ooh, what would Max do in this situation? Or in Lando's case, it's
Yeah.
ooh, what's George gonna do? Or George's case, it's ooh, I know Lando's likely gonna do something kind of like this, so let me try that. Like, I feel like it always just makes for a really interesting situation on track. We did, sadly, have Yuki Tsunoda get shown the black and white flag during the sprint for going over track limits far too many times. Yep, I said track limits.
Yeah. So many times that he was given a 5-second time penalty.
But even with the penalty, he still finished in P5 because I thought it was going crazy. So I verified today on the Formula One app, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Refresh.
And I was like, "I think that's incorrect." So I will say I did think, despite that, it was a really good run for him. Especially with, like I mentioned earlier, and like we talked about forever, and we continue to still talk about the Yuki rumors for 2026.
We also had Kimi Antonelli being shown the black and white flag for, yep, you guessed it, people, track limits.
And was it just me, or did it seem like the challengers were more midfield and or I guess P2 and P3 in this instance than anything? Because to me it seemed like Oscar cruised the most part till the finish line. And
Agreed.
No,
I don't mind that, but at the end of the day, it's like I would love the challenge, like the fight for the finish.
Yeah. It's like how we talked about, like, when we first started the podcast, like, it's great seeing Max, like, go out
Easily
like a
win.
bully. Yeah, easily win, but at the same time, it's like that fight, that drama, like, we live for that, too.
Right.
But new regs next season. Hopefully we'll see it, so...
Yeah, I think the new regs are going to turn everything on its head. I think we're going to see a really nice shakeup in our podiums. I hope we get a nice shakeup in who finishes on podiums. Knocking on wood.
And we have an additional
Charles.
team next year, too, so, you know.
Yes.
Plot,
the additional team is also going to just add so much chaos into it.
The plot is plotting.
Oh, we need one more team to even it out. 12 teams total.
I would love that, but that's going to take a little bit. I don't think they're ready for it. I think getting an 11th team was such a battle to make happen anyways.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different story and
that's an episode right there.
By the end of the sprint race, your top three was Oscar, George, and Lando. Now, we do obviously have to talk about quali. Q1, we started off the Q1 session with news that Alex Albon was going to get summoned to the stewards after the session, like during Q1, because of what? I honestly couldn't even tell you. But we never like seeing drivers get summoned for things after a session is complete. Like we constantly keep saying, Ferrari, can we please burn this car at the end of the season? Because why, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, are Lewis and Charles and 12th and 15th respectively? Like, no. Can it just, no. Throw the whole car in the trash. Don't keep it for display. Get it gone. Incinerate the whole thing. Thank you.
Listen, I crashed out in Brazil after Lewis and Charles both DNF'd. I, at this point, will go to Maranello myself and burn the car and the factory itself at this point because I am so exhausted. I did not sign up for this. I would like a few... We're literally about, like, besides like Lewis winning the sprint back in China, we literally went the whole season without a win. That says a lot.
I know a guy. Yep. I can help you, Melissa. I know a guy.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
We'll get you in.
I'm like kind of joking for legal reasons.
Kind of not.
Kind of not.
You don't need to know. Keep it to yourself. What they won't know won't hurt them.
Exactly.
And honestly, while we're on the fact of talking about how upset we are when it comes to the whole Ferrari and getting their, excuse my French, their shit together, Lewis out in Q1 again. I feel bad for the Ferrari people at this point. I'm upset for Lewis at this point. And then Yuki, not making it through either. It was not what I was wanting or hoping for, especially after a strong sprint, I would say, from both of them, because they both didn't finish bad in the sprint race. I had hope.
It's that part. Yeah, we all do.
Now, at the end of Q1, we lost Yuki, Esty, Lewis, Lance, and Franco. Sadly, I feel like for this season, that's kind of our usual suspects.
Unfortunately.
Ish for Q1 exit. Like, Lewis and Yuki might maybe not necessarily, but
It's
like
usually like Gabby.
Esty, Lance, Franco, for me at least, feel very much so like the usual suspects to see out at the end of Q1.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
It is what it is.
It is.
Now, we had a delayed start to Q2 because they needed to sweep up a bunch of gravel that had wound up on track from Q1. I kind of always laugh when that happens because it's just really kind of funny. They're all out there with brooms. It always makes me laugh. Once the session started, saw Lando Norris get hit with a track limits lap deletion, and y'all, I cannot lie, I definitely missed some of the other lap deletions that happened during Q2.
There was just so many, like, I honestly lost track of them at one point, but I will say seeing Charles in P9 was very stressful because I was just like, he's about to get out. Like, he's about to be knocked out.
Yeah, gonna be completely honest with you, I was half awake during qualifying.
It'd be like that.
I fell asleep between the sprint race before qualifying, and then I woke up right as they were starting qualifying. So I was like half paying attention. So when they were throwing out the time deletions, it was almost like they were just throwing out like candy at this point. It was hard to keep track, and you almost needed to just like be writing every single one down because there was just so many.
It's the Leo meme from like Wolf on Wall Street with the money. It's just like,
yeah, that's how it was.
For me, it was almost giving the FIA was having their Oprah moment of you get a lap deletion, you get a lap deletion, you get a lap deletion.
And it was stressful to watch because it seemed like turn 10 was like the pivotal moment for a lot of them because they would take it so wide that their tires would go off. And I don't know if they were trying to get a track advantage by doing that, by going wide, and then they just overestimated it or underestimated it, whatever words you want to use, but it was insane. Insane.
Again, these cars are just too damn big. I rest my case. Now, literally. Out of Q2, we had Nico, Liam, Ollie, Gabby, and Alex. Again, it's kind of like our usual bunch, as we were just speaking about earlier, so nothing really new from the rest of the season, if you ask me.
Just really happy to see Isaac being able to sneak into Q3. We love him. Absolutely love him.
You guys know, him and Kimi are my little rookie pookies this year. But I also was really happy. Like, I loved hearing how happy Pierre was going into Q3. Like, he was just like, give that man a car that can perform well, and I definitely know, like, he would definitely be, like, up there with, like, Ferrari, honestly, like, I'm not gonna even, like, talk about you, with, like, Red Bull and McLaren. He would be up there. Give him a car. He's a decent driver, so.
Saw him put an Alpine on a podium before, so, like, yeah.
It's possible.
I would love to, I love a PG-10 podium. It's the best, personally. But that's just me. The thing that had me stressing the most during Q3 was the battle between both the McLaren boys, Max and George. I was just like such a ball of stress. It was not fun for anybody to watch, probably.
Ever.
Honestly, the fact that George Russell is racing like he's got nothing to lose.
I mean, he doesn't.
And it's just
And he
not
literally
giving
doesn't.
too crazy whatevers when it comes to this driver championship. He's like, I'm racing because I want every podium in the book. I don't care about y'all. You want a tow? Get a tow. If you don't want a tow, out you go. That's just kind of the philosophy I feel like that we've got in George since probably beginning of Vegas and on. And so I just wonder what kind of chaos we'll see from George in Abu Dhabi.
We had a moment that made me go, whoa. Because we had a really big spin from Charles Leclerc. Don't ask me what part of the track it was. I was just like jaw on the floor. Absolutely mind blown.
Now, when I saw Amy write this note, I missed it. I literally wrote, I cannot see, and what I cannot see cannot hurt me. But then they showed the replay like 2 seconds later, and it hurt me. I'm so over that damn car.
We had a really weird moment as well because we had Carlos Sainz go into the pits to swap his tires out, and Williams released Carlos with like this plastic on his rear tire. It was so totally a slam dunk, unsafe release for the team, but it was such an odd thing to see. Now, yes, I totally understand. We are literally at the second to last race of the season, and people are probably burnt the hell out. But, like, it was just so odd to see something like that. Like, I can't tell you the last time I've seen something like that happen on an F1 track.
It was so weird because I remember seeing, I was like, there's something under his car. And like, no one had, it was like one of those close-ups. Like, no one had mentioned anything. But I mean, after nearly 24 races, I get it. Like, I can just imagine how much like of a toll that takes like on the body. Like all that travel, the time changes, like the constantly like working all around the clock. Like, that's rough. That's pretty rough.
I would be so dead.
Yeah.
Like, so drained.
I wonder if they didn't even notice it until it was too late, and then they're like, "Oh,
Whoops.
Probably.
Whoopsies."
Yeah,
Very likely an honest mistake, but definitely a weird thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing I'm about to mention will surprise absolutely nobody because I love David Coulthard with a friggin' passion. Because what do you mean David Coulthard drops a run, Forrest, run while a marshal was out on track trying to clear up the gravel? Absolutely friggin' cackled. I love him so much.
The marshal was on the
loves
mission.
to find a way to drop something funny or a movie quote or something. I can't with him. I really did not have that on my bingo card. I was not expecting a Forrest Gump quote in an F1 race podcast. Because what do you mean?
I just needed him to yell that, and it would have been 100% better. Almost like he was literally saying, "Run, Forrest, run," but like yelling it.
Yes.
Almost like he's like a track coach at this point, and that would have made it cinematic.
Masterpiece.
Yes, thank you.
Iconic behavior, DC. We love to see it. We did have a moment for Lando Norris where he was definitely having issues towards the end, and it totally lost him pole. I cannot lie.
Yeah, seeing him pit while like literally him going into the pit lane, like while Oscar was literally like just coming around like that last corner was just crazy work to watch. It was, I was just like, oh.
Yeah, and then Lando misses out by just over literally 0.1 seconds, making it an all McLaren front row. It was so close.
But not close enough because we had Oscar in P1 and then of course Lando in P2, followed by Max in P3 and then George, Kimi, Isaac, Carlos, Fernando, Pierre, and rounding out the top 10, Charles. Now, everything that you may have missed in the race while we were just watching away, taking our notes. First things first, of course, Franco is starting from the pit lane. Are we surprised at this point? No. Now, sorry, Franco. I love you, but at this Alpine. Get your stuff together. Anyways, now I do have to say both McLarens really had great starts once the lights were out, but Max, he just went for it.
He really absolutely totally sent it at the start, because Jesus Christ, man. I was actually kind of impressed.
That turn 1/straight stressed me out because Lando does not have good launches off the bat to save his life.
Yeah, we all know what happens sometimes when the nervousness takes over him, unfortunately. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a lap one without some lap one chaos because, of course, we had a DNF. And who was it? Nico. He had an incident with Pierre, who in turn had a puncture and then brought out the first and I think only safety car of the whole. Yeah, it was the only safety car of the race.
Yeah, it was almost like Pierre didn't see him and he just went wide, but then Nico was ahead of him. So you're like, how did you not see him?
A blind spot?
Yeah, maybe it was not what I wanted from Nico, especially since it seemed to be the last few races that Sauber's just going very strong or stronger than the beginning of the season. So I was hoping for better. Let's just say that.
Well, while the safety car was out, we had Max and pretty much half the friggin' grid come into the pit lane.
WTF, McLaren, and that strategy call. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but like, what the heck?
They pulled a Ferrari.
They did.
They did.
Even Ferrari was better than McLaren here.
Now, while we're on the pit stop topic, it was just a disaster one for Mercedes with Kimi. Like, they stacked Kimi and then George, and it was like they took longer on Kimi, but like George, when it was just not smooth at all.
The only people who didn't dive in for the pits were Esty and the McLaren. To me, felt like a very odd choice because it's like a known fact that pitting under the safety car saves you time.
Yeah. No, literally. And then Esty. That man's luck is something to talk about too. He had a 5-second penalty for a jump start, and apparently it was not served correctly, but then there was no further investigation because it turns out it was served correctly. And then the penalties just continues because we had another 5-second penalty to Lance for speeding in the pit lane.
McLaren giving Oscar a 3.1 second pit stop, which was then followed not that long after by Lando getting a 2.2 second pit stop. Guys, y'all are trying to get a driver to win the World Drivers' Championship, and you can't get the pits fast as heck? What is going on? Oy vey. It stresses me out so much. I don't get it.
I mean, McLaren can't even make strategy calls always right, so why hope for any good now? Can you tell him tired of those papaya rules yet? Whatever the heck that even means. Just pick someone to back and move on at this point. Figure it out.
Around lap 31, like my notes verbatim say, Kimi, baby, I'm gonna need you to make that mark as wide as possible and keep Lando behind you. Yes. I'm aware that Kimi still needed to pit, but like I really was hoping and praying that he was gonna be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that man, he was on a mission. Now, if you're over the age of 21 in the United States, 18 in other countries, take a shot every time you hear track limits, every time they're mentioned, because I honestly lost count on how many times I've heard it over the course of the race.
It was the way I was so excited for the FIA bot account to drop the document that shows me all of the lap deletions post-race. Now, I literally checked it, so I had the data to provide in this episode. Post-race, there were only 18 laps deleted during the race. For context, the sprint race had 20 lap deletions.
They reeled it in.
See.
Now, of course, as Amy had mentioned very early on in the episode, Pirelli made like a new tires or like a new requirement tire strategy into play that there's a mandatory to stop to change tires. Now, everyone was pitting at lap 32, and it was just chaos in the pit lane. It was so chaotic that George almost had contact with the racing bull, V-carb, whatever you call it, and that whole like pit thing was just insane because you definitely know like they were just waiting for it and just went for it. Insane.
Debacle.
We did have Lando Norris receiving 2 warnings for track limits, which is not what anybody wants to deal with.
Yeah, and then, of course, a little bit later after the warnings, we hear a radio message about possible damage to his car, which, for the Lando McLaren fans, definitely not something you want to hear.
It almost sounded like he had grinded, or looked like he had grinded the floor pretty bad on turn, I think, 12 for cutting the corner too close. So I wonder if that played a part in it, or if he was worried about the plank damage and getting disqualified potentially again. Who knows?
We did also have Ollie Bierman get a 10-second time penalty for his car being in a, quote, unsafe condition. It literally looked like when he was trying to pull out from his pit stop that he was missing a rear tire. Which side of the car, I couldn't tell you, but it was definitely missing. And it was not something you ever really want to see. At least following that, we did have a better pit stop from McLaren for Oscar Piastri with a 1.8 second pit stop.
Yeah, poor Ollie, honestly, because he went in for his penalty and then just DNF'd. He called it a day. Honestly, same.
I wonder what the call was and how that was decided by the team for that call, because I don't recall a radio message about damage to the car. Almost like he just went into the pit lane and then took off his helmet and was like, I'm done.
I get it. I would do the same too, to be honest, in that heat. Now, it's time to take another shot. Why? Because George has been warned for track limits as well.
We then had another pit stop for McLaren and Lando Norris, where he had a 2.7 second pit stop, which isn't bad, but also isn't great.
And then shortly after that, the McLaren tech team and Lando were going back and forth. And I think after some disgruntled frustrations, Lando did a radio message that said, help me. It kind of made me sad for him because, like, what the heck's going on?
Now, like Mel mentioned, George got warned for track limits, but then he also got a black and white flag for track limits. Again, take a shot every time we say the phrase track limits. I feel like a broken record. I do have to give some major kudos to Carlos Sainz because he really was on one this race. The man was absolutely showing Ferrari how badly they messed up letting him go.
He was even making calls and telling the team what to do. He stood on business and was even strategizing against the Mercedes team and McLaren.
Now, I will say, him leaving Ferrari or Ferrari letting him go is still up to date because that car is a tractor this year. Okay? It is not to say he is not a good driver, because he is. That man can drive. Still up to debate. Check back with me like next year. Now, Kimi. That man was defending for his life, and I love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not alone where you get that warning of 3 laps to go. I was so stressed because the 3 laps to go warning hit, and I was like, all right, it looks like the World Drivers' Championship is gonna not be called this race. It's going to Abu Dhabi, people.
I am so stressed. Like, oh my freaking God. I'm gonna have a crash out.
Valid.
We had a moment from Kimi Antonelli where he went real wide at one point towards the tail end of the race, which ended up, technically speaking, allowing Lando Norris to move up to 4th. Yes, that was followed with a little bit of shade from GP on Max's radio where he was going, I don't know if Kimi moved over and let him through or what happened, because we hadn't seen a replay of the situation. And so he was going based off of what he saw and just like updating Max.
We'll definitely touch on this a bit later, but the amount of Red Bull hate going to Kimi is just insane for something that people don't know anything about from a technicality standpoint. I don't think he did it intentionally.
No.
Not at all.
Now, by the end of the race, we have a Carlos Sainz situation where he is on the podium. And personally, that brings me so much joy. Going 7th to 3rd on the podium in a Williams is just iconic. I don't know what kind of magic Chile possesses, but I don't have a single complaint to give. I also have
his
to
little
give,
unicorn sticker.
seriously, can we get, I really hope he gives us like a full unicorn lid for Abu Dhabi. That would be
They need
so
to give that little girl and her family like Paddock passes at this point.
bring her to the final race or bring her to a race next season. Something like we got to make it happen, people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to give Red Bull a little bit of kudos because they pulled out the queen, Hannah Schmidt, and brought her onto the podium for the race. And I just love seeing that. It brings me so much joy.
It was a proud moment for the women in motorsports, definitely.
For sure. I love her. I hate to say it.
She's an icon.
She's an icon. Because, of course, she's on the rival, like, team. Yeah, you know. But, like, Ferrari, get some women on their team. That is all. I rest my case.
And Max, like, showered that woman with champagne on the podium. Like, he was just, like, he didn't, like, abandon her. He was like, heck yeah, you're on the podium. Let's have some fun. I don't know.
Love that. Love that. Now, the top 3 leaving Qatar, of course, we had Max in P1, and then Oscar in P2, and Carlos rounding out the top 3.
Your driver of the day was none other than Max Verstappen. Now, I do have a little update on how the championship standings sit as of the end of this race. Lando is still leading the championship with 408 points, and Max is in P2 with 396 points, Oscar in P3 with 392 points. So things are still tight.
Very. It's going to be a crazy one next weekend in Abu Dhabi. And of course, the fastest lap went to Oscar for lap 44 with a whopping 1 minute and 22 seconds with like 909 something milliseconds. Just know it was like under a minute and a half. Fast.
Now, you really know a race has been chaotic when a non-F1 fan who literally knows nothing about the sport, also known as Rachel's mom, we love you so much, ma'am, even says that the McLaren strategy was terrible. I just have to give her that shout out for the fact that, like, as a non-F1 fan, she even knew that it was friggin' weird.
Now, I'm sure, Hannah had mentioned it briefly, but I'm sure by now you have heard all the drama around Kimi and the Red Bull team. And well, of course, it wouldn't be PGP if we didn't have some things to say about that. 1, be ready. Helmut Marko, you need a muzzle and you need to be fired, but we all been know that. Why don't they do that? I have no idea. 2, Red Bull fans, stop with the hate. Okay. Stop with the hate. It's so unnecessary. This is the second time they targeted like a Mercedes driver, and it's honestly so annoying. And it's just like, it's so unnecessary and so cruel. He is a rookie, a freaking rookie at that. Like, they should have had all this anger towards Helmut and towards Christian Horner. I rest my case. Thank you.
I will say, at least GP went and spoke to Toto. There's clips of it. But, like, people need to keep in mind that Kimi is literally 19. Yes,
a child.
I said 19. Can we please not bully a teenager? Like, seeing grown adults in his comments spewing hate is just so not okay. Thank you for coming to our PSA TED Talk. We appreciate it. Because we have friggin' thoughts.
A lot.
Honestly, no other words other than it should have just never been a thing. It should have just stopped. As soon as you saw it, don't form an opinion and just let it be. Let it be. The politics and drama of F1 is sometimes so insane, and it doesn't make sense. The amount of shade and the fan hating on drivers is just too much. It's almost like they take the small little grain of salt
Salt.
and sand and run with it almost like the world's on fire. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, the death threats and all that, it's too much. That is so wrong. I don't care who the driver is, whether he's a 50-year-old, whether he's an 18-year-old, whether he's a 32-year-old.
It doesn't make it right. Yeah.
It should have never been a thing. And no matter how much of a fan you are or how much you're obsessed with the driver or a team, does not mean you can fuel your fire and hatred on the other team. It's not going to make a difference.
Literally.
Keep it to yourself. Get a journal.
You're
Go
right.
to therapy.
Yeah.
Literally.
Turn off the TV.
I think my bigger issue is the fact that, like, Kimi and Max have a close friendship.
Yeah,
at least so it seems. So it's like, okay, you're hating on somebody that Max wouldn't even hate on. Like,
exactly.
It's just, it's irritating. Now, before we start our predictions portion of our episode, we do need to take a little look back at what the heck we thought was going to happen when we filmed our Vegas recap. Now, I surprised myself. I got both Max and Oscar in the right places. I don't normally do that. Rachel also had Max in her P1 and got that right. Meg had Max and Oscar on her podium, but they were in the wrong locations. And Chelsea also had Max on her podium, but again, in the wrong spot. I am kind of impressed that my pendulum actually got two right. I can't even lie. Normally, I feel like I'm like, I get the right names, but the wrong locations in terms of order, and I'm really proud of myself. Now, we are going to attempt, keyword being attempt, people, to predict the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix podium. Lord knows anything can happen because we are heading into the final race of the 2025 season. Now, for me, my pendulum gave me the following podium lineup. P1, Max Verstappen. P2, Oscar Piastri. And P3, PGP's personal favorite, my personal favorite, Isaac Hadjar.
Now, first, thank God that the season's ending. I'm just ready for 2026. That is all. You guys have heard my little tangents. So we'll go on to my predictions. I am not sure. I'm just ready for the drama to unfold going into Abu Dhabi. I'm hoping for a really good race and a good end for the season. Now, that being said, P1, I'm going to go for Oscar. P2, Max. And P3, I'm going to say Kimi because he needs his redemption after this past weekend.
I get a feeling that your pendulum did not want Lando to win. And Mel's just Mel. But this last race, I'm very hesitant on because this three-way battle is killing me. And yes, there's no denying, I'm not a diehard McLaren fan like our lovely Meg, but I am a McLaren fan. And this year has been rough. Don't even get me started. I will say, though, my top three are probably, from a realistic standpoint, P1, Max, because it's Max. P2, hoping Lando. And P3, Oscar. I'm honestly okay with the mix of whoever those top three is. It doesn't really matter. That actually puts Lando still winning the WDC, which is great. And I will say, after the incredible year he's had, despite all the ups and downs, I do think he kind of deserves it. And I would like to see a little bit of a shakeup from Max Verstappen. So if it goes to Oscar, I'm not really upset. It just would be cool to see the Red Bull era kind of just go down a little bit of a notch, just at least for one season, and then Max can take it all over again.
Now, before we say bye, we do have a moment of the weekend, and it's got to go to Carlos Sainz on the podium, and more specifically, how hyped Williams and the Team 55 crew was about said podium.
I loved it.
It brings me so much joy for Carlos in particular because he didn't always get that support from Ferrari, and seeing how excited the whole entire Williams team was, even Alex's side of the garage, was to see that one of the cars on a podium just is awesome, and it really shows that there is a good team camaraderie and mentality within Williams. Now, that is a wrap on our Qatar Grand Prix recap, besties. What a weekend. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with us in the paddock and screaming right alongside us. Do not forget to like, subscribe, rate, drop your thoughts in our comments. We really and truly do read every single one that we get. As always, you can find us on socials. We are at Paddock Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. So drop a follow, slide in our comments, our DMs, take your freaking pick. But it is time to buckle up because next weekend is the big one, our Abu Dhabi Grand Prix recap. The final race of the season where the World Drivers' Champion will finally be crowned. Will it be Lando, Oscar, Max? Only time is going to tell, but trust us, you definitely do not want to miss it. But until then, we will see you on the next lap, besties. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.